Pratt says, may God always bless you, sir. You do great work, and I'm a huge fan. Thank you, Crop. Appreciate the kind words. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. And we're going to be watching a little bit more of this testimony that we started watching last night. I want to, hopefully, I've been saying this shit forever, start streaming a little bit earlier, not so late. But we'll see. And we're watching the trial of Yaser Abdel Said. This is the guy that was like a former taxi driver, and allegedly, I say that with like a wink, or like not a wink, but like an eye roll, I don't know, something like that. Allegedly killed these two girls, Amina and Sarah. Their bodies were found in an abandoned taxi. This is a Texas story. And what we're gonna watch, and I'll get to you guys and say hi to you. Appreciate you stopping by. Please hit the like, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, all that stuff. But we're gonna be watching the mother testify. And so the thing with the mother was that I guess apparently the mother, after the kids had like run away, if I remember this correctly, she had gone after the kids and like made them come back and like convinced them, come back to your father, yada yada. The mother also was kind of being thrown under the bus by the defense, saying that she was like an addict and had all these issues, and they were pressing the aunt, which was her sister. We were watching that yesterday. And so what we're watching is from day 3, which I think that's today, day 3. I saw a little bit of day 2. Day 2 was like the boyfriend from last night, the continuation, but it was like a lot, and I just didn't want to replay that. But today looked pretty interesting. And also, just side note, so for the people that have been, the people that watch every day and support the channel, there was a teenager in New York. I think she was 14 years old. I guess I won't even say her name anymore because now they're not identifying her. Let's see. Is there a news clip? I can play a news clip. Apparently she was found and she was safe. She was, I think, hiding in an apartment. So I guess I'm glad I didn't even bother doing a video. She was found. I was going to edit a video today and put it together. Let me play this here real quick.
Recognized Honesty Elliott and called 911.
Police well, there you go.
To a local hospital for evaluation. Now, Elliott's case made national headlines after we reported she went missing while baby.
That was national headlines? That shit was like a blip, barely a blip in the media sphere.
Babysitting her younger brother and sister on July 27th. Her mother was frantic to find her oldest child, clutching the teen's doll and her sketchbook as she begged for information. The mother works with the United Federation
Mall
of
of America
Teachers,
lockdown.
So the education community was putting out the word about the girl's disappearance. The teen is supposed to start high school soon. City Council member Crystal Hudson, who represents Central Brooklyn, tweeted about the girl being found. Thank you to everyone who helped spread the word, Hudson said. It was through our collective outreach and media coverage that we were able to garner enough attention that she was recognized. The teen's mother told us that 2 days before the girl disappeared, she took her daughter's computer away at night. In the last 15 minutes, the mother, Raquel Elliott, reached out to me and told me on Zoom that the 24th precinct had notified her the girl was safe.
Okay, so she's safe.
I have seen my daughter.
Some good news.
I've held my daughter.
Did she tell you why she left?
At this time, due to ongoing investigation, all I can say is my daughter is home safe.
Yeah, we're not going to find out this. You know how many times I've seen this? You know, once the child is found, they're not going to really go and divulge into why and what or whatever. But supposedly she had taken the computer away a couple of days before, I thought I heard. And so like the girl was like pissed off or something. And I feel like we've heard of so many stories like that too. The parent takes away the device and the kid just runs off.
Safe, and I want to thank the entire community all around
Louder?
the world
Sure. Yeah.
for all their love, hope, faith, and prayers.
The mother also thanked the 77th precinct in Brooklyn where she lives, and she said this is a continuing police investigation. In the newsroom, I'm Mary Murphy, Shirley Naranee.
And Mary, we have to thank you for.
So that was that. Just a little update so people know this girl is safe. The other thing too, I hear people talking about the Mall of America placed on lockdown during confirmed isolated incident. The Mall of America was placed on lockdown Thursday as police are on the scene and confirmed an isolated incident. The mall spokesperson, Dan Jasper, confirmed that a lockdown was in place, but did not have further details. He said more information will be later released. This is a confirmed isolated incident in a tenant space. Please remain in the closest secure location until the lockdown has been lifted. So I guess they're saying an isolated incident, meaning that there isn't somebody just going on a rampage. I'm assuming shooting around indiscriminately, like it was actually for I guess, for whatever, maybe a personal or something happened. I think isolated incident. So let's see if they did any other updates. That was 37 minutes ago. I wonder if the person's like held out, is like a hostage situation, and what's going on with that. So that's that. And then another quick thing before we get started. Britney Griner, she was sentenced to 9 years, I guess, in a Russian prison on a drug possession charge. So I saw that happen earlier today. I think what happened was she had a vape or something like that, and I think it was a THC vape. I haven't really followed it, but I heard it's kind of a big thing because Biden got involved and making all these pleas. All right, so let's get started with this situation. Mama's love. A lot of people felt like this. She kind of sent these kids to their death sentence. That's what some people felt. They said the father was very controlling. And once he got them back after they had run away, he lured them in his taxi cab and shot them.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear that the testimony...
And yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. What's up, me, you, Lexa, Oaks, Crisscross, Lindsay, cancel. Miss Jelly, Lisa, Veronica, thank you guys for stopping by. Lauren, Susanna, Alan.
You will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
This goes on my chin. This will go over your, so it'll cover the bottom of your mouth, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right, stay there, proceed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Owens, I need you to state and spell your name for the court reporter, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Bump it up.
Patricia Owens.
Patricia Owens.
Ms. Holt, can you help her with her mask?
I'm sorry.
Oh, mask violation. Oh,
Oh, thank you.
Patricia, can you spell your name for the court reporter?
Yes, ma'am. It is PATRICIAOWENS.
And your, Owens is your maiden name?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your married name is Said, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can you pull the microphone closer?
Sure.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Owens, where are you from?
I am from Dallas, Texas.
Okay, what city did you grow up in?
In the ATB area.
HEB area? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you're gonna have to, I know it's a mask, it's so difficult, I'm gonna have to ask you to speak up just a little bit, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll pull that mic as close as you can. All right, so you're from the HEB area, that's where you grew up with your siblings, is that
Yes,
true?
ma'am.
And
Yes,
your mom and
ma'am.
dad?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, how old were you when you met
Hannibal
Yasser
looking mask.
Said?
When I met him, I was 14.
You were 14?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'm.
where did you meet him?
I read it was 15 in some article or something. It was 14 when they had met the killer, alleged killer, Flossie. Okay.
At a convenience store.
Convenience store?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, was the convenience store close to where you lived?
Yes, it was just right next door.
All right, did you live in an apartment or a house?
Apartment.
Okay, how many people lived in that apartment?
There were 6 of us.
6 of you, okay? And how big was the apartment? 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom?
It was a 2-bedroom.
It was a 2-bedroom apartment, okay? Did you also come to know Yasser's younger brother, Yasser Said?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and did you know him before you knew Yasser Said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you briefly date Yasser Said?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. About for how long?
About 5 or 6 months.
5 or 6 months. Okay. Is this when you were 14?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you around 14 when you met his older brother, Yasser Said?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how old Yasser was when you met him?
I believe he was 28.
That's incredible.
28.
Yes.
So he's around 15 years older than you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you and Yasser get married?
Yes, ma'am.
Said.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how long did you date before you got married?
3 weeks, right? 3 weeks.
Around 3 weeks?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At the time you got married, how old were you?
15.
At the time you got married, how old was Yasser Said?
29.
Okay. Did you
Damn.
have to get permission from your parents to marry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What kind of parents do that?
You had a wedding?
Canceled. That's offensive. It's cultural.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
got a wedding dress?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember where you got your wedding dress from?
I'm not for sure.
Okay.
Damn.
Right. When you married at 15 to this almost 30-year-old man, did you move in with him?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Where did you move to?
North Richland Hills.
North Richland Hills. Was it just you and Mr. Said in your honeymoon bliss?
No, ma'am. It was other Said family members.
Other Said family members?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. About how many other people were living in that house when you moved in with him married?
8. I believe it was 8
8?
of us.
Oh.
Okay. Everyone connected to Mr. Said?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you married, what was the date of your wedding? Do you recall?
February 7th, 1987.
February 7th, 1987.
Yes, ma'am.
When was your first child born?
March 10th, 1988.
March 10th of 1988.
Yes, ma'am.
Going 9 months back, that would have meant you got pregnant around May or June of 1987.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So around 3 to 4 months into the marriage, at 15, you're pregnant with your first child.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? When do you have your second child? What is this? And that's Islam Said, correct? First child.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
son.
Yes, ma'am.
His name is Islam Yasser Said. Is that right?
His name on his birth certificate is Islam Yasser Abdel Said.
Okay. And then you proceed to have your second child.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
Amina?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And how old? May I have first witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Egyptian Mania said Said lied to her parents, telling them he was rich. Oh, and they allowed her to marry him. Kind of like R. Kelly. Once they got married, he alienated her from her family, and he wasn't allowed to make any contact.
Patricia, I'm going to show you what's from Mark State's Exhibit number 64. Do you recognize this person in the photo?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is this?
This is a picture of me.
And how old were you about when this picture was taken?
About 14 years old.
14?
Yes, ma'am.
15?
Somewhere in there, yes.
All right. At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to offer to evidence State's Exhibit number 64.
State's Exhibit number 64 is admitted for all purposes.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I call to the jury?
You may.
Just to give the jury an idea, this is you around 1986 to 1987 when you met and married Yasser Said. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So your second child was born when?
March 16, 1990.
Okay. So March again in 19. Well, I'm sorry, your second child.
Oh, Amina.
Yes.
March 2nd, 1989.
Okay. So 1 year later, you have your second child.
Yes.
So you're around 16 and a half.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then your third child, Sarah. When is she born?
March 16, 1990.
All right. So 1 year later, when you're around 17 or 18 years old, you have your third child.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The whole time, are you living with the Said family?
Yes.
After you get married, do you continue school?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do you get your GED?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What do you do after you get married to Yasser Said? Do you take care of the children?
Yes, ma'am. I take care of the children, and I worked outside the home.
You did? Where did you work?
At the Dollar General.
At the Dollar General?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you work anywhere else?
Lexi says, so his daughters couldn't date Americans, but he was? Question mark, question mark.
As years went by, yeah.
Okay. Where did Yasser Said work?
When he did work, he would drive a taxi.
Okay, even as far back as 1987?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Or let me correct that if I'm
Sure.
allowed. It was basically in the 90s when he started driving.
It was in the 90s?
Yeah,
Okay.
when he started driving the taxi.
Was he also working at that convenience store when you met him? Y'all seen him?
Yes,
Okay, so he was working at a convenience store as well?
yes, he at the same convenience store.
The same convenience store?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But he didn't hold down a steady job?
No.
Okay. At some point, you moved to Hill County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's, what town do you live in Hill County?
Covington.
Covington?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And who is living in Hill County at this time?
Yasser, myself, Amina, Sarah, and Islam.
It's the five of you.
Well, his brother and his wife and kids lived there for a short period of time.
Okay. Which brother? Do you remember?
Usually,
Yusri.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How many brothers does he have?
he has 3 brothers.
3 brothers. So with him, it's 4 boys.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So Yusri also lived there for a little while.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And in the fall of 1998, when you're living in Hill County, do your girls, and I'll just say yes or no answer, do your girls make an outcry to you?
Yes.
They're approaching. And yeah, this guy was on the run after he killed these girls for like, I think it was 12 years, they said. On America's Most Wanted. If you guys could hit like to it, appreciate that. And yeah, today's not going to be as long as yesterday. We're just going to be watching the mother, the third person that testifies in this thing, and then like the last person, depending on how things go. We'll do that too. I was just curious to see what the mother was going to say and how the defense was going to cross-examine her. Put this here.
You may.
Okay, Patricia, did the girls, your 2 girls, Amina and Sarah, make an outcry to you when you were living in Hill County? Just a yes or no answer.
Yes.
All right, and did this outcry have to do with with the girls claiming that Yasser Said had touched them inappropriately in a sexual way?
Yes.
All right, what did you do based on that information?
Might have to bump it again. Every time they mute and come back, the volume's lower, and then they do a little increase.
All right, and did this outcry have to do when you were living in Hill County? Okay, Patricia, did the girls, your 2 girls, Amina and Sarah, make an outcry to you when you were living in Hill County? Just a yes or no answer.
Yes.
All right, and did this outcry have to do with with the girls claiming that Yasser Said had touched them inappropriately in a sexual way?
Yes.
All right, what did you do based on that information? Without going into any specific details, did you call the police?
We did make a report, yes.
You made a report?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who did you go to make that report?
The Hill County Sheriff's Department.
Okay, you went to the Hill County Sheriff's Department.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Was an investigation done? Did they talk to the girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What do you do? Do you and Islam, Sarah, and Amina move out of Hill County?
Yes.
All right. So you leave Yasser Said in the fall of 1998. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you recall where you moved to?
Yes, ma'am.
Where?
Duncanville.
Duncanville. Who was living in Duncanville?
My sister.
Your sister. Is that your sister Connie?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you lived with your sister, you and the 3 children.
Yes.
Were you contacted by Yasser Said or his brother Yaser Said during the time that you left him?
I can't remember.
You can't remember?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he try and talk to you while you were living in Duncanville?
Yes. He called my mom's phone.
Okay. He called your mom's phone?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did he know anything about this house in Duncanville?
No.
Okay, so he only knew about your mom, where your mom lived.
Yes.
Where did your mom live at the time?
In Garland.
In Garland. So he would call your mom's phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was Yasin, the brother, also trying to get in touch with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At some point during this open investigation, do you call Garland police regarding a threat that Yasser had made?
Yes.
All right. Would that have been around November 11th?
Yes, ma'am.
1998?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor, at this time, we would like to reiterate our ongoing objections.
Noted.
And can we have a running objection on those, Your Honor, that we've cited multiple times throughout the trial?
That's fine.
Okay, so the outcry by the girls to you in Hill County was in October of 1998.
Yes, ma'am.
And you moved to Duncanville
Yes, ma'am.
after you make the report. And on or about November 11th of 1998, you make a report with the Garland Police Department.
Yes, ma'am.
And Garland is where your mother is living.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's how Yasser can get to you because he knows your mother, and if you're at your mother's house, he can call over there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you actually and you had contact with Mr. Said during that time?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And during that time, why did you make the report with Garland PD? What were you reporting to Garland PD? What was he threatening to do? What did he want from you?
He wanted me to go back to him.
Did he want you to do anything about the charges against him by the girls?
He really didn't talk about those charges.
Okay. Okay. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
All right, but do you recall going to Garland and giving a statement to the Garland police?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Okay. Mrs. Owens, I want to show you this. Does this look familiar to you? Do you need to put your glasses on?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a statement that you wrote?
Yes, ma'am, it
Is
is.
that a statement that you signed?
Yes.
And you signed it on or about November of 1998?
Yes, ma'am.
November 18th?
As I recall, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And can you, with this statement, help you refresh your memory?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Were you able to read it in its entirety?
Yes, ma'am.
You were?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And according to the statement, what is Yasser wanting you to do?
He wants me to come back to him. Can I, may I please receive?
Just take your time, Ms. Owens. Read your statement that you signed November 18th, 1998.
Wow, Vesper, holy crap. Long time no see. How you doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in this statement, what did Mr. Said want you to do?
I,
They're trying to enter this statement in under the guise of a memory refresh. She stated that she doesn't recall. She stated that she did recall. When she was first refreshed on this, she still did not provide the answer the state wanted. So no matter how many times she reads, I believe the correct testimony would be her actual memory for those things.
Overruled.
Mrs. Owens, what did Yasser want you to do?
I want to go back to him. And if I do not go back to him, he's threatened to kill me and my family.
Okay. He threatened to kill you and your family? Okay. And did he want you to kill you for filing charges on him in Hill County?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would object. The state is continuing to lead this witness on this path. The witness can remember what she remembers. She can testify to that memory. They can obviously refresh her memory as needed. But they need to quit leading the state down this path. I mean, I'm sorry.
They're not asking you any questions.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. In this statement, what did he say he would do to you?
That he would kill me.
Okay. Okay. And what would happen to him?
What would happen to him? I really don't remember.
Ms. Owens, can you speak up a little bit?
Yes,
If you don't
ma'am.
mind, can you pull the mic closer to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Mrs. Owens, do you recall stating, may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Mrs. Owens, when you read this statement, when you refresh your memory as to what he threatened you and what he said he would do.
May I read it from here? Or okay.
Just read your whole statement.
Out loud?
No. Read it to yourself
Okay.
first. Now, you've already stated that he threatened he would kill you if you didn't drop the charges.
Yes.
All right?
Your Honor, I'm just pleading.
No, just verifying. Thank you. And you've already previously stated that he would kill you if you didn't drop the charges.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In this statement, did he say what would happen to him?
He said nothing would happen to him.
Nothing would happen to him.
Nothing would happen to him.
Okay, and why?
I don't remember, ma'am.
Okay. May I first witness, Your Honor? Okay. Mrs. Owens, can you read the statement again so you can tell the jury what would happen to him? Where would he go and what would he do?
In those documents that she don't want to. Is this the one she was saying she contradicted herself? I think before, previously, in the previous days, they were saying she gave mixed stories.
Okay. Mrs. Owens, this is a statement that you wrote, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You remember writing the statement?
Yes, ma'am.
You signed the statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I would like to offer State's Exhibit 247 into evidence as a prior consistent statement.
I would object, Your Honor, this is a hearsay statement, and this definitely would be the best source of that information. If she does not recall, she does not recall. It also goes back to the original arguments that we've made about the admissibility of these statements, the credibility of those statements, the relevancy, the balancing act, that it's unduly prejudicial, with very little probative value under 403. So in 401, 402, 403, and additionally 404, based on the predicate and the testimony of this witness, we would ask that this statement and any other extraneous act based on this information be stricken from the record, and that she not be allowed to go into it.
What's the state's response?
Your Honor, the State's response is I have given her ample opportunities to refresh her memory, her very long, difficult memory, on this statement, State's Exhibit 247. That's a sworn statement that she wrote that is notarized, and at this time, because she cannot recall, whether due to her nervousness or the time that has passed, she cannot recall. I would like to get the statement into evidence as a prior consistent statement. And it is relevant. It is directly relevant to the sequence of events in this case.
I asked in the chat, just curious, did mom lead the kids to their death? 1 yes, 2 no. Majority said yes, one person said no. And that's okay. That's interesting. Yeah, for people that are wondering, we're just looking at the highlights. I haven't committed to a trial yet. The last big one I did was like Johnny Depp. I'm still kind of holding out to wait and see what we're going to do for the next thing where we bunker down and we go daily. Lisa, what's up? How you doing? Lisa says 1 as well. Yo, that monkeypox is getting crazy. I keep seeing things pop up on my feed. They're putting out all these kind of warnings. What is it saying? National threat or not a threat? I don't know what they're saying, man. It literally, right now when I clicked on Twitter, it says White House declares monkeypox a public health emergency. You guys going to get that vaccine? You guys going to go get that shit? That shit is everywhere. Maybe I should have did a poll. I just did a chat test. And if you guys could hit like, I'd appreciate that. I don't know, man. Some people saying mama led them to their death. They ran away. They got away. They finally started a life. And it's like this guy sent mama, and she lured them back kind of to the dad, and then he did what he did. I don't know, man. Monkeypox.
This is, you wanted to say something else, sir? Go ahead.
As we all know, the rules of evidence.
Hell no.
That's why they exist. Why we have exceptions to those rules. In this situation, the credibility of the statement has fallen apart, and because the credibility of these allegations is in question, it's up to the jury to determine the credibility based on the witness's testimony, the multiple refreshes, and it would be inappropriate to enter this hearsay document into evidence to support their 404 extraneous offense attempt.
Okay, I'll take that under advisement. Go ahead, counsel. Continue with your examination, Chief.
Okay. Is there a ruling on this?
I'll take that under advisement.
Okay. So
6,600 confirmed.
All right, Mrs. Owens. So you went to Garland Police and you made this report.
Shit.
And he was charged with retaliation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ultimately, though, you dropped those charges. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. of the retaliation.
Yes, ma'am.
During this time, and before you drop the charges on the retaliation, and while the Hill County charges are pending, do you also apply for a protective order against Yasser Said?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's on behalf of the girls?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was in 1998 as well?
I believe so, yes.
And that was filed in October of 1998, is that
Yes,
correct?
I believe so.
All right, and you did this application for a protective order in Dallas County, where you were living at the time,
Yes, ma'am.
in Garland, Texas,
Yes, ma'am.
and you did it on behalf of the girls, Amina and Sarah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just for the jury clarification, we have the Hill County charges in October of 1998. You applied for a protective order in October of 1998.
Yes, ma'am.
And just
I
for
apologize for being
clarification.
so here, but the state needs to stop leading this witness and telling her her testimony. She either recalls or she does not recall. And telling her the prompts to the answers is inappropriate. It's leading, and we object that they should be asking for appropriate questions for direct examination unless they're going to declare her a hostile witness and then allow them to cross-examine her.
Sustained. Counsel will desist from leading the witness.
Yes, Your Honor. After you applied for the protective order in Dallas County, just to clarify, the retaliation charges were in November, is that right?
I believe so.
Okay. You dropped the retaliation charge,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, in late 98, early 1999,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And you never went through with the protective order in late 98 and 1999.
True. Yes, ma'am.
Did you go back to Yasser Said?
Yes.
Did you bring the girls back to Yasser Said?
Yes.
Okay. And Islam as well?
Yes.
Okay. Did the girls ultimately recant the charges of any kind of sexual abuse against their father?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you take them to Hill County in order to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
And were those charges dropped?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you continue to live with Yasser Said?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you go back?
At what point?
I'm sorry?
At what point are you?
After the charges and the protective order
Okay.
and the retaliation, why did you go back?
Actually, I was scared not to go back.
You were scared not to go back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What were you scared about? What did you think was going to happen to you?
Yes, I was abusive.
Okay. Were you scared of getting hurt?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I was abusive.
Did she say she was abusive too? Is that what I heard?
What were you scared about? What did you think was going to happen to you?
Oh.
Yes, I was abusive.
Okay.
Or he
Were you
was
scared of getting
abusive?
hurt?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh Lord.
After you moved back in with him, at some point, do you guys, we're going to jump ahead a little bit, do you live in Bedford, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this would have been around 2005, 2006?
Yes, ma'am.
During the time between 1998 and 2005 and 2006, did you leave Yasser? Can you recall?
Can you repeat the question?
Just during this time from when you went back to him in around 1999 until living in Bedford around 2005 and 2006, did you leave Yasser during any of that period of that time?
Your Honor, can I object?
Overruled.
Yes.
You had left him before?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember where you went?
To my mom's?
To your mom's. Okay. Okay. Did you leave him more than once during that period of time?
I've left him several times.
Oh, he was
Did you take the kids with you?
Yes.
Why did you leave him?
He was controlling, abusive.
Okay. And the same question, why would you go back?
I was just scared.
Okay. When you would go to your mom's with the kids, were you working?
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you gotta keep speaking up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. When you were living with Yasser Said, was he working?
Sometimes, not all the time.
Okay. All right. Well, there was some income coming in for you and the kids.
Yes, ma'am.
Around 2005 and 2006, Amina and Sarah would have been 15, 16?
Yes.
Okay. And you were living in Bedford?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did they go to school?
Amina was in Trinity High School. and Sarah went to Harwood and Junior High.
Okay. And when you, at that time, did the girls start taking karate classes?
Amina did.
Amina started taking
Yes, ma'am.
karate classes?
Yes.
Okay. Did Sarah go along at first?
She went to one class, but she wasn't really into.
All right. Who would take them to karate?
At first, I would, and then Amina got a car and she would drive herself.
Okay, all right. Did she get a boyfriend around that time? Or start talking to a boy?
Yes.
Were you aware of it?
Yes.
Were Amina and Sarah allowed to date?
No.
I'm sorry?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay.
No.
Did you tell Yasser that she had met a boy at the karate class?
No.
All right. And why not?
He wouldn't allow it.
He wasn't going to allow it?
No.
Okay. But the girls would tell you if they were seeing someone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know if Yasser became aware of her dating Joseph at the karate class?
Amina and Joseph wasn't like dating boyfriend girlfriend. They were like friends.
They were
like,
friends.
Like, you know, like if I had a friend that was a guy.
Okay.
But they weren't like boyfriend girlfriend.
Okay. Well, did Yasser become aware that she was hanging out with this guy, Joseph?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
At some point, did you abruptly move to Louisville around this time?
We did move to Louisville, yes.
Okay. This was, do you remember when?
I would say 2006.
Okay. But it was during the girl's school year?
Yeah.
Okay. And it was around the time that she was seeing this Joseph kid. Would that be true? The karate classes?
Yes.
And Yasser Said made the decision to uproot the entire family and move from Bedford to Louisville, correct?
Yes.
Did he give a reason why to you?
That he wanted to move closer to his job.
His job. What was his job?
At that time, he was driving a taxi.
Okay. Okay. And when you moved to Louisville, where did the girls go to school?
Louisville, I went to Louisville High School.
Okay.
And Sarah went to Louisville High.
Were the girls good in school?
Yes, there was.
Okay. Did they seem to like it?
Oh, they loved it.
All right. But during this time, were they allowed to date?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And they're 16, 17 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
18?
Yes, ma'am.
So during their young life, they never went to a movie with a boy?
Actually, Amina went to Joseph's grandmother's birthday party.
Okay. Mr. Said didn't know about that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. She told you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you guys kept it from your husband?
Yes.
And then so they never had a boy pick them up and take them to a movie?
No.
That would have been allowed?
No.
Okay. While the time that they're at Louisville High School, or where are you working?
At Kroger.
Okay, what are you doing at Kroger?
I was a GM clerk and front end clerk.
Can you say that again?
I was a GM clerk and a front end clerk.
Okay. Did you say GM clerk?
Yeah.
Okay. Did the girls start working there?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you work there first?
Yes, ma'am.
The girls started working there while they were in high school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did the girls end up meeting boyfriends at the Kroger?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did Sarah meet?
Eric.
Did he work there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who did Amina meet?
Edgar.
All right. How did she meet Edgar?
He was a customer.
He was a customer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did the girls begin dating these boys?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you aware of it?
Yes, I was.
Did they tell you?
Yes, sir.
As far as you knew, was Yasser Said aware of it?
No.
Would he have disapproved?
Yes.
Okay. Did you keep it from your husband?
Yes, I did.
Do you know how the girls would see the boys? I'm assuming Sarah would see Eric at work, but how would Amina see Edgar?
Amina was in a program, a work program, where she could go like in the mornings and leave, get out early to go to work.
Okay. And that would be the times that she would...
And that would be the times that Edgar would pick her up. And then when it was time for school to go get out, he would drop her back off at school.
Okay. Okay. Because he was in college at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you like both boys?
I did.
All right. Were they polite to you?
Very.
Very?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you thought they were appropriate to date your daughters?
Yes.
You liked them well enough?
Yes.
All right. Do you know what Mr. Said would do if he found out they were dating?
I really didn't know. I mean, I just thought he would like punish them, like take like their phone away or something like that.
Okay.
But
all right. But it was enough for you. It was enough for you not to tell him, though. Correct?
yes,
Okay. So just taking the phone away is a punishment granted, but y'all actively kept this from him. True?
we got the phone. Yes.
Okay. 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 At some point, let's see, we're now in the fall of 2007. Y'all are working at Kroger and the girls are dating Edgar and Eric. Okay? Getting close to December of 2007. At some point, look at any phone bills.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall what month that was or how close to the murders?
I'm gonna say like within 3-4 months.
Okay.
He had,
There's something in the phone bill that he didn't like.
he would call the phone. He would get like Amina's phone and dial the number to one of her contacts, and if a boy answered, he would say he would write beside it boy. If a girl answered, he would write girl, and he did it to all of the phone bill.
Okay. So he was going through the phone bill seeing if there were boys or girls on the phone.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was checking the phone bill and then like seeing if there were girls or guys, and he'd write it, like take notes and stuff. That's pretty extreme. I asked a question in chat: would you keep it a secret from your spouse that your kids were dating? 1 yes, 2 no. Majority said no. We got one person saying yes, I'd keep it a secret. Fuck the other person. No, most people said no.
Do you know, or were you there?
Oh,
Did he confront Amina?
yeah, Alexa said 2-1. If my spouse were a rude ass, then yes, I would. My kids come first. Ooh, and that's another great question. Back in the day when I used to try to do parenting videos and stuff, I was just kind of learning a little bit, and I learned that we really don't know anything. We're all just on a whatever path, trying to figure it all out. Whatever books you read, whatever guys. But one of the things I asked, because it was like a topic: do the kids come first, or does your spouse come first? Maybe we can do. And does it have to be like that? Can both be simultaneous, or it has to be one or the other? So, who comes first? Okay, let's say kids, or spouse, or partner, or whatever the correct term that makes you feel whatever. Kids, or canceled. Who comes first, kids or spouse? Ride or die. Fuck the kids.
Or Sarah about dating either Edgar or Eric?
No.
Okay. All right. Sometime though in December of 2007, the girls decided they want to run away.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you find out about this?
They told me.
They told you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you recall when this was?
It was in December. I believe it was a week before Christmas.
A week or so before Christmas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did they tell you why they wanted to run away?
Because they wanted to be able to do or date Eddie and Eric, or Edgar and Eric.
Okay. Eddie being Edgar.
Yes.
Okay. They wanted to date them.
Yes.
Did they give you any other reasons?
Just dated.
Why did they feel like they needed to run away from home?
Objecting to meeting your owner.
Oh, why? Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Your Honor. Why?
Because Yasser, we thought Yasser found out that they were dating the boys.
Okay. What were they scared he would do?
I'm not for sure.
Okay. They were scared enough to run away.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the plan? Did anything happen specifically right before to make the girls want to leave? They didn't tell you about anything specific that made them want to leave.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Come on, you gotta know a reason.
They were going to run away.
Was there something specific that happened that they told you to make them want to run away?
Sarah said that Yasser had threatened Amina.
Okay. He had threatened Amina.
Yes, ma'am.
What did he threaten her with?
A gun.
A gun.
Damn.
Right. When did they tell you this?
No.
It's okay. You don't have to give me exact dates, because I know that's hard. This was before they ran away, though.
Yes.
Okay. Did defendant keep a gun in the house? Did
Yes.
Yasser Said keep a gun in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you aware of this gun?
Yes.
Do you have any idea what kind of gun it was?
That couple things. I still can't believe how she went and got those kids back. Like, knowing all this stuff in hindsight, like knowing all the threats and the gun and all this stuff. I mean, the only thing I can think of is, I guess, is like he got with her when she was 14, supposedly married her when she was 15. So I guess maybe she was brainwashed and stuff, you know? The poll, by the way, who comes first with the kids? What did it say? Oh, I screwed up. 88% say kids, 12% say spouse. And that's kind of a tough one. That's kind of a tough one. It should be the kids in certain cases, but somebody said like it depends the context. When your spouse is really important, but like, I don't know, the kids, yo, it's like your blood. I have to think about it. I did do a video on it one time. I don't remember what I said, but I know I had a change of heart. Especially with the shit I've been through. Yo, kids all day long. But it kind of depends, maybe the context. All day long. If you knew the shit that I went through, I have to delete the stream. All right. The other thing, which I just lost track of, I don't want to sidetrack too much. Okay. Vesper said it, and this is maybe a trial that I'm going to be really interested in. We'll see. Hopefully they're streaming it everywhere. Think about following the Sarah Boone case out of Florida. Her trial starts in November, the suitcase murder. So they pushed that trial back. I thought it was like October. Then it got pushed back, I think, a month. We watched the interrogation. We watched some other new clip that came out recently on the channel here. Pretty interesting. The whole suitcase thing where this girl like somehow gets this guy to get in the suitcase, locks him in, and then he's dying and she's recording him and taunting him. And then she goes upstairs and goes to sleep and he dies. And the whole thing blows up in her face during the interrogation. That is one for sure I'd like to cover. Go get your shots ready. Shot.
I don't remember.
You don't remember what type of gun?
No, ma'am.
Was it a handgun?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So after this threat with the gun, and did they tell you why he threatened them with the gun?
No, she had said why they couldn't drive the gun.
Right. Did you confront Yasser Said about what he did to the girls?
No, I knew better not to, because then he would have got abusive toward me.
Okay. You knew better not to.
Yes.
What was the plan to run away? And by that, what did you put in place to run away?
I told the girls to put clothes in a trash bag.
Okay, you gotta speak up on this. This is important. You put the other girls to put clothes in the trash bag?
Yes, so that, so when we just could grab the bags and throw them in the car and leave.
Okay. And you thought this would be less suspicious to the defendant. Why?
Because we would donate clothes to the needy.
Okay. So you told the girls to put the clothes in the trash bags because it would be less suspicious because he would think you're donating clothes.
Yes.
Okay. And what were you waiting on? What were you waiting on in order to get out?
For him to leave to go to work.
Okay. Did he work here and there?
He just worked whenever he wanted.
Okay. But it was important for you for him to be out of the house when y'all left?
Yes.
How many days did it take for him to finally go to work?
I believe it was 4.
4 days? And what day did he finally go to work?
Christmas Day.
All right, around what time?
It was in the evening.
Okay, evening.
Yes.
Like dark out?
Yes.
Okay. And Edgar and Eric were involved in this plan?
Yes.
All right. So you, all right, Islam is in the house. Does he know about this plan?
No.
Does anybody tell him?
No.
Why not?
Because we knew that he would contact his dad and tell him where we were.
Okay, so you don't tell your son, they don't tell their brothers because he would have contacted Yasser Said?
Yes, ma'am.
What? So Islam's there though on Christmas Day in the evening after Yasser goes to work.
Yes.
What do you tell him?
That we was going to go to Quick Trip and get a drink.
Go get a drink.
Yeah.
Okay. So you lied to your son.
I did not to my son.
To get the girls out of there.
Yes.
Whose car do you get into?
I got into a Honda.
Is that your car?
It was Mawson and Mary gave it to me.
Okay. You were driving that car?
I was driving the car, yes.
The car you were driving?
Yes.
Before you leave, do you take any money?
Yeah, I did.
How much money?
I believe it was $4,000.
$4,000?
Yes.
That Mr. Said kept?
Yes.
Okay. But y'all are married?
Yes.
Okay. You took $4,000?
Yes.
And the bags of clothes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Are you doing okay?
I'm fine.
Okay. When you, where do you go?
We took the car in to Eddie's garage.
Okay. That'd be Edgar.
Edgar.
Ruiz.
Yeah. Then from there, we left and went to...
Hold on a second. Who all left in Eddie's car?
Eddie, Eric, Amina, Sarah, and myself.
Okay. And where do y'all head?
Oklahoma,
Okay. But then you detour to
Kansas.
why? Why?
We were going to go stay with one of my aunts,
What's your aunt's name?
Jill.
All right. And do you get to the aunt's house?
Yes.
All right. Once you get to the aunt's house, what do y'all decide as a group?
That we wasn't going to stay there, that the place we was going to stay was not livable.
Okay. All right. So where do y'all take off to?
We go back to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
All right. And what do you do when you get to Tulsa?
We found an apartment and rented it.
Can you say that again?
We rented an apartment.
You rented an apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long are you in this apartment?
We stayed 2 nights there.
Okay.
And then we come back to Dallas.
All right. You know, let me back up. In talking about the preparation of this travel, you did the clothes, and you got the money. Did you do anything with your phones?
Yes, yes, we did.
What did you do with the phones?
We took the SIM cards out and we broke them.
And you broke your SIM cards?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get a burner phone?
We got when we got to Oklahoma, we got a prepaid.
A prepaid phone?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
That you could communicate with if you needed to?
Yes.
Okay. While you're in Oklahoma, are you getting messages from Yasser Said or Yasser Said?
Yes, ma'am.
On your phone?
They was calling Amina's phone and my phone and leaving messages on the voicemail.
Okay. So even without the SIM card, they could leave messages?
Yes.
Okay. And what was Yasser Said saying to you on those messages?
That come back home, that was the girls in my home, and if you didn't want him there, he would leave. And then Yassine, he said that go home, that's your house, and Yasser, agreed that if we did not want him there, that he would leave.
Okay. So they said everything will be okay?
Yes.
Everything will be all right?
Yes.
If you come home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did he say he would be better, that he would change?
He just, basically all he said was trying to convince me to come back.
Trying to convince you to come back? Okay. During this time as well, are you in contact with your sister Connie?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And does Connie relate to you that something about the Louisville Police Department?
Yes, Yasser had reported me and Amina missing.
Okay. Not Sarah, you and Amina?
No, not Sarah.
Okay. And did she give you anything?
Did Connie give me anything? Mm-hmm. She gave me a message to call the Louisville detective.
Okay. And did you do so?
I did.
All right. And what did you tell the Louisville detective?
He asked if I was okay and if the girls was okay and if Sarah was with us. And I said we are okay. And yes, Sarah was with us. And he asked where I was, and I told him, and he said okay.
Okay. Did you tell him not to contact you again? Or that you wouldn't contact him again?
No, I did not.
Okay. Okay. You then, a few days later, do decide to go back to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you make this decision?
Because Amina had and Sarah, they only had a few more months of school, and we were scared that it would mess up her credits to go to the college that she wanted to go to. So we decided to go and let her go back to school and get in. And then when she graduated, we were going to go back to the apartment that we had rented in Oklahoma.
Can you say that last part again?
After she graduated high school, we were going to move back to Oklahoma.
Okay. But where were you going to live while they were in school?
We in the house in Louisville.
With Yasser?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it Yasser Said that told you that the girls needed to come back and finish school?
He said they would come because school's important, and I said, I know.
Okay. So he's the one that brought this up to you?
Yes.
Okay. So he told you everything would be all right and the girls needed to be back in school?
Yes, and that he would leave.
Did he know you were taking that $4,000?
Yes.
What did he say about it?
He was mad about it.
What did he say to you regarding it?
That he couldn't trust me, and that's, I can't remember everything he said.
Okay. Were the girls reluctant to go back?
It is, right? Yeah, the captions aren't really matching up. I do have stream captions on, but I don't. Somebody had told me that the stream captions, when I enable it for the live stream, that it only records my voice. It doesn't actually do whatever I'm playing. And so apparently it'll show after, though. I think after the stream ends, but it's kind of off. I think she might have had surgery. It said somebody mentioned maybe she had some sort of mouth surgery or something. So
They want to go back, but on the other hand, they did because they wanted to finish the school year.
Okay. So they were conflicted?
Yeah.
Were they scared to go back?
They didn't say that they were scared. And the way that Yasin and Yasser had left the messages and talked, I didn't think anything would happen.
Okay. What do you mean the way they talked? What do you mean by that?
Like, they were trying to be nice and convince, us that everything's going to be okay. It's, just come back and finish school.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so how do you guys get...
It's working for both. Oh. Okay.
Back to Dallas. Who's with who?
Me, Sarah, Eddie, not Eddie, I'm sorry, Eric, was in, I believe Amina was in the truck with us too.
Okay.
And
Eddie's still in Dallas?
Eddie was on his way, was in Dallas.
I'm sorry, Louisville?
Yes.
Okay. When you get back to the Louisville area, what do you do? Where do you drop? Do you drop Eric off? What do you do?
I dropped Eric off, and then we went to the Denny's, and we met Yasser and Islam at the Denny's.
Okay. But before you go to the Denny's where Yasser and Islam are, do you drop Amina off at Eddie's place?
Yes.
And you do that because Amina asked you to drop her off at Eddie's place?
Yes.
She wanted to be with Eddie?
Yes.
She didn't want to go home?
They were going to Eddie's families for New Year's.
Okay.
So they were having a cookout, and she wanted to go.
Okay. So you and Sarah meet Yasser and Islam at Denny's?
Yes.
Okay, and this is New Year's Eve?
Yes.
Okay. And how does Yasser act when you get there?
He acted like himself.
What do you mean himself? Was he nice?
Yeah, he was nice. And
what did he do? How did he greet you?
he just, when he came in, sat down and then started talking to Sarah, asking Sarah how was she, and he was glad that, she's back.
He was glad she was back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He went to Denny's often, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you guys go anywhere after that? After going to Denny's? The four of you, Islam, Sarah, and Yasser Said.
We went back to the house in Mexico.
Does he reward Sarah by getting her a new SIM card?
Yes.
So you did go somewhere after the Denny's?
The next day.
The next day, I'm sorry. Okay. So she gets her SIM card for her phone?
Yes.
Okay, to replace the one that y'all had broken?
Yes.
And how was he acting during the night and into the next day?
The next day, he had a habit of chewing on the side of his cheek, and he would do that. But
what did that indicate to you?
That
Why did you bring that up?
That's one sign that when he was angry.
That's how you knew he was becoming more angry, so he would chew the inside of his cheek?
Mm-hmm.
So you would look for those signs?
Yes.
Okay. Did he start doing that on January 1st? I'm sorry. Did you understand my question?
I did.
Ask it again?
Please.
Okay. He started doing that more on January 1st, chewing on his cheek,
yes.
that you were aware of?
Yes.
Okay. Did he ask you where Amina was?
Yes.
Did you tell him?
I told him that she was with her friend.
You didn't tell him that she was with a boy?
No.
Okay. How do you explain where you were when you ran away to Yasser, when you were at Denny's? How do you explain it? What do you say that y'all did?
He asked where we went, and I just told him to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then to Kansas.
Okay. And you don't mention the boys at all to him?
No.
Do you know if Sarah does?
He questioned Sarah. I don't know what he asked them.
You say he questioned Sarah. What do you mean? He took her into a room?
Like, they were they sat at the table and was talking, and Yasser likes to be outside. So, when, Sarah went outside, they were talking, and then he talked to her in the bedroom.
Okay, so he had her alone outside, and then he had her alone in her and Amina's bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, were you included in this conversation?
No, ma'am.
You were not part of that conversation?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did Sarah come to you after that and tell you what was said?
I don't recall, I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you know if she told or confided in Yasser Said that she had had sex with her boyfriend?
I don't know.
Okay. But how long would you say they were talking in either outside or in the bedroom? Was it a while?
Like, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour. But when Sarah was, after she would talk with him for some time, you could hear her laughing.
Okay. So he was being kind to her?
Yeah, he was being nice with her.
All right. Now, at some point, Amina's still not home at this point.
Correct.
Okay. Are you in communication with Amina?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what are you asking her to do?
To ask her if she was ready to come home.
Okay. And she didn't want to come home?
No.
Did you ask Sarah to contact her?
No, I did not. But Amina and Sarah had contact with each other.
Okay. So you didn't ask Sarah to contact and tell Amina to come home or tell Amina to call you?
No.
How many times would you say you had contact with Amina during that day of New Year's Day, January 1, 2008?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. And during those times, are you asking her when she's coming home?
No, I asked her on a couple of times, when does she want me to take her out?
Okay. And what did she say to you?
That she'd call me when she got ready.
Okay. At some point, you do go over to the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. To Eddie's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you go inside?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And y'all have a conversation with Eddie, Amina, and Eddie's parents, is that correct?
We don't have a when it got in, when we went in, we were leaving, and Eddie said, told me to call him later, and she said okay, and then she had a camera that you could put like the little, I guess, some kind of little clip in there, and she threw it down and told Eddie here that that would be the last time that he saw her.
What was she upset about?
I'm not for sure. Well, I think because she was going back to the house.
She didn't want to go back to the house?
No, she cannot.
Why did you bring her back to that house, Patricia?
Because she wanted to finish her school.
Okay. You knew she did.
I wonder if she still feels like torn between the kids and her ex-lover or whatever, ex-husband, or are they still married? Till death do us part.
Did not want to go home.
I want to see what the defense is going to say, because the defense is kind of, they were kind of rough before she got on. She's kind of dragging a little bit. I thought it was going to be kind of a little bit more. I didn't know they were going to have to be like walk her into the entire story and conversation. She should know firsthand. I mean, I get guiding, but it's kind of like, I don't know, kind of dragging.
To her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And you went and got her anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Was Yasser asking where she was?
Yes, I asked her she was.
Did you tell him that she was with a boy?
No.
So the reason you went to get her is because he didn't know where she was and you didn't want him to know.
Exactly.
But why bring Amina home?
So that she can go ahead and finish her schooling.
Ms. Owens, this is a tough question, but Amina knew what could happen to her.
Yes.
Did you comprehend what could happen to her?
I did. A part of me did. A part of me didn't. I'm sorry.
It's okay. When you get home, how does he greet Amina, Yasser Said?
He come to the door, opened the door, and he kissed her on the forehead, and I seen a tear go down his cheek. And he hugged her and she come in.
Did he ask her where she'd been?
No,
do you recall?
I don't recall.
Okay, what happened next?
She said she's hungry, so I said, okay, well, I'll warm you some pizza up. And she said, Yasser said, no, I'm going to take them and we're going to eat dinner and talk.
Okay. And what time was this? Around what time was this?
I'm going to say around 7. I'm not completely sure exactly what time.
Evening time?
Yes.
6 or 7?
Yes.
Okay. And where are they going to go eat?
At the Jenny's.
At the Denny's?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you invited?
No, ma'am.
Did you ask to go?
Yes.
Okay, and what did he say?
No, he just wanted to talk to the girls.
Okay. Is Islam home at this time as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, he doesn't go to the Denny's?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is Yasser Said driving a taxi at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what color is it?
Orange.
Is it the normal taxi that he would drive?
He was sharing with some other cab driver.
He would share with somebody?
Yes.
Okay. Did he and the girls get in this orange taxi?
Yes.
Okay. And they took off for Denny's around 6:37?
Somewhere there, yes.
Okay. What do you do?
I just sat there with Islam.
Okay.
And then...
At some point, do you contact Yasser on the phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And why do you contact him on the phone?
I was just calling because maybe he changed his mind that, there's something going on.
Okay.
So...
Does he answer the phone when you call?
Yes.
He does?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a conversation with him?
Yes, I did. I asked him where they were and if they, if he want, if they can come to Denny's.
Okay. Let me back up just a little bit. Where is this Denny's that y'all would go to?
I don't remember. I think it was off of 635. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Was it fairly close to you?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, there's several Denny's.
Yeah.
Was it one that was fairly close to you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're talking about the Denny's. Does he invite you at this point?
No.
Okay. Has your conversation long or short?
When I talked to him, he said he's putting gas and they'd be on their way home.
Okay, so they weren't going to go to Denny's?
No, well, he said he was taking them to Denny's.
Okay.
So...
Well, when you contacted him, you said he was putting gas in his car?
Yes.
He was putting gas in his car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then he would be home shortly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you take that to mean that he was going to get gas, then go to Denny's, then bring them home?
No, I just assumed that he was putting gas and going to go back to the house.
Okay. Do you and Islam stay at the house?
Yes.
Okay. And do you call Yasser back?
Yes.
Yasser Said?
Yes.
You call him again on the phone?
Yes.
When?
Whenever the Lord's Police Department come.
Okay, but before we get to that, thank you though. Before we get to that, you were trying to contact him, or you contacted him when he leaves with the girls?
Yes.
Okay, before the Louisville police get involved, do you have any more contact with him on the phone?
No.
Do you call him or does he call you?
No, I've talked to him only one time.
One time. Does he call you during this time at all?
No.
Does he try to tell you that somebody's following him?
No.
Does he contact you to call the police for him?
No.
Does he contact you because he's worried about the girls?
No.
Does he contact you and ask you and have you help him in any sort of way?
No.
Does he contact you and tell you where he is?
No.
In fact, Mrs. Owens, does he contact you at all?
No.
After that last contact where he said he was at the gas station, did you ever hear from Yasser Said again?
Never.
At some point, you said you were contacted by the Louisville Police Department.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how did they contact you?
They come to the door.
Okay, and what did they tell you at the door?
The officer asked if everything was okay. I said, yes, why? And he said they had a 911 call that a young voice said that her sister was shot, and she's dying.
Okay.
But can I back up for a second on that call?
I think so, yes.
Okay. When she called the 911, she stated that her brother, which is dad in English, shot her sister and her, and she's dying.
Okay. So they're giving you this information, and what do they need from you?
They told me to call Well, they asked where Yasser was.
Okay, they asked where Yasser Said was. What did you tell them?
That he was supposed to be taking the girls out for dinner and talking to them.
Did you tell them what vehicle he left in?
The taxi.
Yes. Did you give that information to the police?
Yes.
Did you give Did you give a description of him? Height, weight, clothes.
Not until they took me to the Irving Police Department.
Okay. Did you provide some pictures of the girls?
I did.
Okay. Did they ask you about the weapon?
I don't recall them asking me about the weapon.
Did Islam talk to the police as well?
Yes.
Okay. Do they escort you down to the Louisville Police Department?
Yes. Oh, to Louisville?
I'm sorry, you're right, Irving Police Department.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is this where you find out about what happened to the girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you talk to any detectives?
Yes.
Okay. Did you identify the girls?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Where were the girls buried?
In Chrome, in the Muslim cemetery.
And you and Islam lived together for a little while after this, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did he eventually move in with the Said family?
Actually, after it happened, it was only myself. We moved in with Mary and Wilson.
You moved in with them?
Yes.
Okay. They invited you to move in with them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you eventually get your own apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and does Islam stay with the Said family?
No, he went to Egypt.
To Egypt, okay. After Egypt, did you have very much contact with Islam?
No, ma'am.
And you never heard from Yasser Said again?
No.
Ms. Owens, is Yasser Said in the courtroom today?
Yes, he is.
Can you please identify him?
That devil there.
Can you identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
A dark blue jacket,
Okay.
a tie, and a white shirt.
All right. What color mask if he's wearing a mask?
Blue.
May the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant of the court. The record will so reflect. Thank you. Ms. Owens, after these murders, at some point were you under care of a doctor?
Yes.
And what were you diagnosed with?
There's several things. PTSD, I think is what it is.
PTSD.
Extreme depression.
Extreme depression and?
There's several things again. I can't remember all of them. There's several.
Are you also on medication for them?
I am.
Are you on medication for them today?
Yes, ma'am.
So she has all these conditions, I guess PTSD, on medication.
That's all. I'll pass away to Sean. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you all like a 15-minute break, or do you want to power through
I'll be
cross-examination?
medicated. She could be.
Would you like a 15-minute break? Okay, let's do that.
Whatever it is.
Let's be back at 10:35.
Mama's love. I don't even know that I can make it to the other testimony. If you guys could hit like, please, I'd appreciate it. Appreciate that.
Please be seated. All right, we're back on the record. Let the record reflect that the defendant is present with his attorneys, the state is present, and the jurors are present and seated. Ms. Owens is on the stand for cross-examination by the defense. Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Ms. Owens, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
You need to take a deep breath or?
I'm fine.
So, recently you and Yasser had 3 children together, correct?
Yes.
Your parents approved of that marriage.
Yes.
Your parents approved of other marriages, like your sisters around that time frame, correct?
Yes.
Did you also provide for the family?
No.
You also was not a provider?
No.
Who bought the iPhone?
iPhone?
Who bought the girl's phone?
I did.
You you bought the girl's phone?
Yes.
Is that because you were able to work outside the home?
Yes.
And so you had independent income separate from Yasser?
No. The money I made, I paid bills, and what was left, he took.
But you did work.
Yes, I worked.
You had many jobs throughout the years.
Yes.
Were you also the one who bought the iPads?
They did not have iPads that I knew of.
So if there were iPads and evidence that were assigned to the girls for their possession, that you would not have any knowledge of that?
No, sir.
Did Yasser permit you and the girls to have phones?
I didn't have a phone, but the girls had a phone.
Did Yasser know this?
Yes.
Thank you, loving God.
Who paid for the girls' clothes?
Their clothes. I did.
Okay.
When they was younger, my mom did. My mom helped me. When they started working at Kroger, they started buying their own clothes.
Okay. And, you know, as we see here in their portraits from school, they dressed like any other American girls at that time, right?
Yes, they are American girls.
How many jobs did you work throughout the years?
Throughout the years.
Yeah.
Several.
Okay. But was Yasser supportive of your employment?
Was he supportive of it?
Did he support you working? I mean, it sounded like you were a significant contributor to this family. Is that true?
Yeah, I paid everything.
What about the girls' school? They excelled at school, correct?
Yes, they did.
I mean, Amina was good enough at school and good enough at work. She got a work release from Louisville School District, right?
Yes.
As you as parents, did you have to sign off and approve that?
Yes.
And the girls were preparing for college.
Yes.
You and Yasser both felt that education was important.
Yes.
Very important.
Very important.
The girls had plans. What college was Amina going to go to?
She wanted to go to Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. And what degree was she wanting to obtain?
She wanted to be a doctor.
Did she have any scholarships?
To my knowledge, she had got a paper from one of them for scholarship.
So she did receive a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Who filled out that application?
Amina did.
Did you and Yasser help her at all with her college application?
No.
No, you didn't. She did that on her own?
Yes, sir.
Were you all aware of her college application?
Yes.
And you're married with Yasser. There was a lot of back and forth. Is that fair to say?
What do you mean when you say back and forth?
On direct, you testified that you would leave and you would come back. And that happened
Yes.
several times throughout the years.
Yes.
I believe the state started in 1998 with their timeline. How many times during that time would you leave and come back?
I can't give you a count. I don't remember how many times.
But December of 2007 was not the first time that you had left and come back.
No.
You always came home.
Yes.
There was some discussion about the $4,000 cash you took. I mean, clearly, you said Yasser was upset about that.
Yeah.
Did you tell him that you were taking $4,000 cash?
No.
If he had taken $4,000 cash out of the safe, the family safe, would that have bothered you?
No.
You would have been fine if he just took the cash and didn't tell you what he was doing with it. You knew the girls dated.
Yes.
And you kept that from Yasser.
Sure did.
You knew the girls were, I apologize, I don't want to be insensitive here, but you knew the girls were sexually active.
Yes.
You kept that from Yasser.
Yes.
You knew that Amina had gone on at least the one date that you discussed with Joseph to the grandmother's party, correct?
Yeah, yes.
And Amina also, when y'all came back from the trip to Oklahoma, she went to Edgar's.
Yes.
And as you said, she wanted to go to the party.
Yes.
She went back to Edgar's to go to the party.
Yes.
When you decided to go to Kansas, whose plan was that to leave?
Whose plan was it to leave Louisville?
Who came up with the idea to go to Kansas?
Well, my aunt, my sister was talking to my aunt and told her that, you know, I was leaving Yasser, and she said she had an extra house that we just couldn't stay in.
Okay. It was your aunt's idea to leave?
No, to leave that house in Louisville.
Okay.
Was the girls was going to run away, and when they told me they were going to run away, I was not going to let the girls run away and be in the streets by themselves.
So you go to Kansas, and then you go to Oklahoma. Is that correct?
Yes.
Who signs the lease on the apartment in Oklahoma?
Eric. I mean, not Eric, I'm sorry, Edward.
Edgar put his name on that lease.
Yes.
How much money did everybody contribute to this plan? Was it all the money that you took, or was everybody putting money?
The money I took.
I'm sorry?
The money that I took.
Okay. And I'm confused because on direct examination you said you took it from Yasser, but that's not...
No, I took it from the box that he put his money in.
Okay. So Yasser did have access to funds? Did he have money at the donut hole?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what you're...
I'm sorry, ma'am. I guess I'm just trying to clarify because you stated you supported the family. But on direct, you said that you took $4,000 of Yasser's money and that upset him. Was it his money or your money?
Well, it would have been our money because we were married. But like I said, when we got income tax, he would take it. When I got my check and paid the bills, what was left, he would take it.
So you were the breadwinner in the family?
Yeah.
The entire time?
Yes.
You indicated that, and again, I'm just trying to clarify the timeline here. You took one car on this trip to Kansas and then Oklahoma and then back home?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the Honda. What did you do with the Honda?
Put it in Edgar's garage.
So Edgar's family was supportive of all this?
Yes.
How long had you known Edgar before you decided to get in this truck with them and move to a different state?
A couple of months.
And you thought that was an appropriate move with Edgar and Eric and your daughter?
Yes.
Again, I don't want to come across insensitive here, but are you aware whether or not the girls and their boyfriend were sexually active with each other during that trip?
I'm not for sure.
During this conversation, are you aware that the plan for Kansas and Oklahoma, are you aware that Amina is still in communication with Joseph Marino?
No.
You had no idea of that?
No, she was not.
Is your testimony that she absolutely was not in contact with Joseph Marino at that time?
When we left and went, to my knowledge, she was not in touch with Joseph.
So you wouldn't be aware that Joseph and Amina had put this plan together to ultimately reunite at some point?
How can they reunite? Amina and Edgar was engaged.
They were engaged?
Yes.
People close to her?
Yes, and so was Eric and Sarah.
When were those proposals?
When it was before we left, not too, probably 3 or 4 weeks before we left.
So there was an official proposal and both girls said yes?
Yes.
So, you decided to come back from Oklahoma to Louisville.
Yes.
Edgar left first.
Yes.
On his own.
Yes.
And then the rest of you came back.
Yes.
Amina stayed for the party at Edgar's.
Yes.
Sarah came home.
Yes.
Sarah and Yasser have a long talk in the backyard and everything seems fine. They're laughing.
Yes.
In fact, Yasser did buy her a SIM card when she got home, correct?
Yes.
And that's because she had broke those SIM cards, or you all had broke your SIM cards when you left.
Yes.
Because you feared that his understanding of the cell phone technology would allow him to locate you if you kept those cell phones on you.
Yes.
And you come back and Yasser buys her a new SIM card.
Yes.
This is the SIM card that was with her on the night that she was killed?
Yes.
When you went to get Amina from Edgar's house, did you have a conversation with his father Victor and Edgar and a group meeting about what was going on?
No.
You did not?
I was there less than 5 minutes.
Did you forcibly and physically remove Amina from that situation?
No, I did not.
Did you grab her and pull her and force her into the car?
No.
So if someone accused you of doing that, would they be lying or would you be lying?
They would be lying.
You said that Amina provided Edgar with some sort of recording before she left?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? I didn't understand it.
It was for her camera. We set it on like a little disc that goes into the camera.
Like a little thumb? Oh, a little disc?
Not this, it's a little square.
Like a thumb drive?
Yes, a thumb
Okay,
drive.
so it's like that. If you plug it in, you can record something onto it, and you can share it with that person so they have the video of you.
Yes. Or you can take pictures and save it on that.
Or, did you ever see that again?
No.
No. You're absolutely sure that this recording from Amina to Edgar on the last day that she was alive was given to Edgar?
Yes.
Do you recall her saying that he had failed her?
I do not recall hearing that.
Do you recall her saying that this is the last time you'll ever see me again?
Yes.
So then you come home, and the family is reunited at the house, correct?
Yes.
Everyone's there.
Yes.
Yasser is apparently very happy to see his daughter again.
Yes.
He sheds a tear.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember that specifically and clearly, correct?
Okay.
No questions asked.
Nope.
I mean, he doesn't, where you been, what are you doing? He doesn't start laying into her. He embraces her, and no questions asked, brings her back into the home. So then he decides, or tells you, that he's going to go talk to his daughters on just the three of them. Correct?
Yes.
And this is days after you had taken these girls to camp in Oklahoma to run away.
It was January 1st.
Is it possible that maybe he wanted to get their side of the story separate from maybe what you had going on?
Well, if he wanted to do that, he could have took him to the bedroom, took him outside.
Yeah, like he did with Sarah. He sat outside with Sarah and they had a joyous conversation in the backyard.
Yeah.
They also sat at the family dinner table and talked about it. So they talked about it a lot when they came home.
Yeah.
Okay. And Yasser was welcoming.
Yeah.
Yasser was kind.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yasser was not belligerent.
No.
For days.
Yeah, for a couple of days, yes.
So Yasser and the girls leave. You said you called him and there was this conversation about the gas station.
Yes.
Have you ever told anybody in law enforcement or any other agency about that conversation?
Yes.
So that is a known recorded statement that you provided to law enforcement?
Yes.
When did you provide that statement?
When when I went to Irving Police Department then.
At that time, were you able to more accurately identify the time frame of that call?
No.
As you testified today, and it's fine if you don't remember, but generally speaking, do you remember what time that call was made?
I don't know. Around 7 p.m. somewhere in there.
Shortly after they left the house?
Yeah. Probably about 45 minutes or an hour, somewhere like that.
So 45 minutes to an hour after they leave the home, you made contact with the officer?
Yes.
And your testimony is that you never heard from him again?
Nope.
Were you aware of the FBI investigation about where he was?
At what time?
Did you know that law enforcement was looking for Yasser?
Yes.
Did you know that the FBI was looking for Yasser?
Yes.
Did you at any point tell them that you had heard from him that night, separate from that gas station conversation?
No.
So this is the first time that you've seen Yasser in person in 14 years?
Yes.
You had absolutely no direct communication or knowledge of anything, of his whereabouts, where he was, or anything that entire time?
No.
So despite all of your history and all of the things that you've been through together, and everything that happened leading up to January 1st and the events of January 1st, in the past 14 years, he's never tried to reach out to you or threaten you or put you in harm?
No.
Oh.
No further questions, Your Honor.
State.
No questions, Your Honor. We would like to re-urge State's Exhibit 247 as a prior consistent statement.
I will re-raise my objection.
That's denied.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
May this witness be released?
I believe we should keep her for recall, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Owens? Please stick around, stay in touch with the state in case he decides to recall you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so se terminó con eso. That was alright, man. I thought it was gonna be like groundbreaking, shattering, like revelations. You know, I don't know. I mean, there was a couple of things that's like is jacked up. It's really messed up. Bits and pieces of information. I just kind of expected a little bit more. The other testimony, I didn't think we were gonna be here this long. The other testimony I wanted to see, I don't even think we'll do the third one. Unless the advisor says we should. I didn't want to take this out that long. I was really just curious to see what Mama was going to say. Mama, you know. I think I was told to skip over this guy. Skip him. This guy, I want to see. This guy, I think they bring out some evidence or something. And then maybe we'll call it after this. I don't know what we're going to do, man. After for the next following streams, we got to see what people are interested in. There's a couple of things that people sent to me while streaming. We could hang out for a little bit after and kind of go over just whatever the shooting thing. There was some other weird explosion thing Flossie had sent me.
It's Randall Johnson, Randall Johnsson.
And Detective Johnson, are you currently retired?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you live?
I live in a RV, and we're currently in Maine.
So where do you want to go to live?
We're full-time travelers.
Great. Well, we appreciate you coming back to testify. I
I
have some questions for you regarding, of course, this case. Were you assigned as the lead detective in this case back on January 1st, 2008?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long did you have the case for?
Approximately 5 months.
So when did you retire?
In June of 2008.
Now tell the jury a little bit about your prior experience, how long you were with the Irving Police Department, when you were first on patrol, and your career as an officer.
I joined the Irving Police Department in 1981. I was in patrol for approximately 2 years. From patrol, I went to the Criminal Investigation Division, where I spent the next 25 years. While I was in the Criminal Investigation Division, the first year I did basically thefts and criminal mischiefs and misdemeanors. And then I went to the narcotics section. I was in the narcotics section for approximately 2 years. Then I was transferred to a special task force at the DFW airport with the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration. I was there for a little over 3 years. From there I came back to the Irving Police Department. I was assigned to the Crimes Against Persons section, and I stayed there till the end of my career with Irving.
Okay. So, you were detective for a very long time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell the jury a little bit how it works. If you are assigned a case, do you work alone, or do you work in teams?
It just depends on what the case is, what the size of the case is. You get assigned a case, and then if you need additional help, you ask for help, or on larger cases, there's people coming offering their assistance to us, and it's just a group effort to get to the end.
Do all the officers who are dispatched to the scene kind of work collectively? So let's say there's a first officer on the scene, does he relay his information to the next officer on the scene, or the detective who might come with?
But they try to, yes, ma'am.
And why is that important to a criminal investigation?
Just so you can have a timeline of what occurred and how things occurred and what happened prior to your arrival, and also hopefully will help you solve the case.
Right. And not everybody's accessing the same information at the same time.
That's correct.
Right. So you might have somebody who might have listened to a 911 call and somebody who might be out looking for a suspect.
Correct.
So I want to direct your attention to January 1st of 2008, around 9 p.m. Is that when you received notification that you would be assigned as lead detective on this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you told that anyone was going to assist you, or were you to handle this case alone?
I was told that Investigator Hennig was going to assist me with the investigation.
Okay. So what did you decide that you wanted to do first as lead detective, and what would you have Hennig do?
First, I arrived at the police department about 9:45 that evening. Investigator Hennig was already at the scene, was already conducting interviews or telephone calls. I conferred with him just a little bit, and then I went to While he was doing those interviews, I stopped and talked with a couple more people. Then I talked with the complainant's mother, and then I went to the crime scene and contacted the officers at the crime scene.
What information had been relayed to you prior to you arriving at Irving PD at 9:45? What did you know about the investigation at that point?
That there was a taxi where 2 deceased females were found, and there's no suspect that was at the scene. Very, very limited.
Were you ever notified of a 911 call prior to arrival at 9:45 p.m. to the police station?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you notified of whether or not the caller in that call had said whether or not she was in trouble or in distress?
I don't recall that. I just know I was told that there was a 911 call.
Okay. Now you mentioned talking with the complainant's mother. Is that Patricia Said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know if Patricia ID'd that person on that 911 call?
Yes.
Overruled.
Do you know if Patricia ID'd that person on that 911 call?
She did.
Okay. And who did she identify as the person making that call?
You instruct the witness. The jury disregarded the last statement.
I overruled your objection.
You overruled it?
Yes, I did.
And who did she identify as making that call?
Her husband, Yasser Said.
I asked in the chat, should the mother be charged? 1 yes, 2 no. Got a lot of ones. People saying yes, a couple saying no. Heffa say what said nope. I think the mother thought with all her life that the father was going to reconnect with their daughters that no longer wanted to be there. Good night, Adrian, man. You heading out? I'm going to try to power through this and then call it. I don't even know. I'm going to try to make it through this.
The 911 call.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 911 call. Sarah, her daughter.
This last person
Yes.
here, hopefully.
Do you recall which number that was from?
I know the last 2 numbers are from 66.
Okay. Okay. So, how did you come to interview Patricia Said? Was it just Patricia Said, or did she have anybody with her?
She had her son, Islam, with her.
Did they drive to Irving PD by themselves, or were they escorted by police officers?
I know that they came with the Louisville Police Department.
And that's because Louisville had done a welfare check. Is that
Correct.
Okay. So they show up. Are you given a description of what the girls might have been wearing, and possibly what the suspect, the defendant, Yasser Said, might be wearing?
Just what the complainants were wearing.
Okay. And you're told the clothing description?
Yes.
Okay. Are you given any photographs so you can identify the complaining with Amina Said and Sarah Said?
Yes, ma'am. I was given a photograph.
Okay. Do you recall what the photograph looked like? Or what was contained in the photograph?
Basically, it has a picture of Sarah, a picture of Amina in the same picture. And I was told by that the girl with her tongue sticking out was the complainant, Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, it is reported that the father was supposedly, touching the kids, or those allegations that he had penetrated one of them, at least one of them. So, I mean, I don't know. That could change or sway people's feelings on that. But it seems like he kind of preyed on the mom, too.
So at least you knew at this point who to be looking for, and possibly some identifying markers on, description for assessment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell us what you do next. Do you then go to the scene, or do you stay at Omni, the police station?
I left and went to the crime scene where the taxi was located.
And that's just part of your investigation, and that's where you need to go next?
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what do you do when you arrive there?
I contacted the officer that had the crime scene secured, talked to him about what occurred. Eventually, I talked with the general manager of the hotel, and after about 20 minutes and looking at the crime scene, I then left the crime scene and went to my office.
And did Hank stay behind? Did Hank?
He stayed at the office.
So at this point, you both leave the crime scene and you go to the office. Now, why are you leaving the crime scene to go back to the office?
To do a evidentiary search warrant on the taxi.
Will you please tell the jury why that's important?
Because the suspect had a right to that vehicle, and we were obtaining a search warrant to search his property, and we needed a search warrant for that to collect evidence.
So you had information that that taxi belonged to that person, the suspect you were looking for, Yasser Said, and in order for you to legally enter that vehicle and search it, you had to have a search warrant.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So do you in fact see that search warrant?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you do after that?
After received the search warrant, I went back to the crime scene, and I was there as Officer Hazard conducted the crime scene, and collected evidence and removed the complainants from the car.
So you were there to observe all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
And Officer Hazard was the crime scene investigator on the case?
Yes, ma'am.
At any time did the ME arrive?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was the purpose of ME being there?
To take custody of the 2 deceased females and transport them to the medical examiner's office in Dallas to do an autopsy to determine the cause of death and the manner of death.
As an Irving PD detective, is it proper for you to view an autopsy?
An autopsy? I don't do the autopsy. It's
No,
performed.
to view it.
To view it, yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that was part of your job as a detective in the case, was to view an autopsy?
Yes, ma'am.
Whose autopsy did you view?
Sarah's.
Oh.
Did anybody use Amina's?
Investigator Hendricks.
What did you do next in your investigation?
From there, I went back to my office and started doing paperwork. I'd already, at the time that I had the search warrant signed, I also had an arrest warrant signed for the defendant. And then I started making notifications. I contacted NCIC, placed the warrant for the defendant on the computer because he's at large, and we were trying to locate him.
So you have 2 deceased young girls in a cab. You do not find the suspect at this point based on anything you believe you have probable cause and you get a warrant for arrest.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At any point do you go and get phone records or request for phone records?
Yes, ma'am.
And whose phones were you looking into?
For Sarah's phone and also the defendant's phone.
Why were you looking into the defendant's phone?
To see if the phone call logs matched up with what was being told by the complainant's mother. And also to try to locate and confirm exactly what we were being told.
And possibly locate him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At one point with these phone records, you recognized that they were incoming calls to both phones. And you tried to locate or find out who had called Sarah's phone. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that number, who that number belonged to?
Edgar.
It was Edgar, or did it belong to Edgar, or family member of Edgar's, or his?
The phone actually belonged to Victor, which is Edgar's father.
Okay, so the phone belonged to Victor, Louise.
Yes.
And that number had called Sarah Said
Yes.
prior to a 911 call.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you also said that you spoke to Patricia, the complainant, and you also spoke to her son, Islam Said.
Briefly, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Throughout your investigation, I'm sure you had to maintain contact. I know you had to follow for five months. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
At any point, did your interactions with Islam Said change?
A little bit, yes, ma'am.
Tell the jury about that.
I could tell from talking with Islam and also with Patricia that Patricia was more of a reserved type person, and it seemed like Islam was taking more of the father role, more of the authoritative role, and I think that he was just he was controlling the situation more than Patricia was.
Okay. Did you get a feeling at all, and if not, let us know, that Islam may not have wanted to cooperate with the police at anything?
Yes.
Okay. When did that happen?
Just through interviews with Islam and different paperwork that I had reviewed.
Okay. Throughout your interactions with Patricia Said and Islam and your conversations with them, at some point did you come into possession of some property that Patricia had delivered to Louisville Police Department that you then took custody of?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that item?
That was a green metal ammo box that had ammunition in the box.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Oh boy.
I'm going to hand you these guys phones.
Yeah, you guys are killing me. Dominicans.
at State's Exhibit 58, which has been previously offered for record purposes. I'm going to have you look in this bag and tell me if you can identify markers and see what person took custody of this.
Yes, ma'am. This is the police department property tag that I filled out to place this into the property.
This time, the state now offers State's Exhibit number 58 for all purposes.
Okay.
State's Exhibit 58 is admitted for all purposes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commissioner Public?
You may.
Okay. I'll have you open the ammo box that you're down to and tell me what's in the contents.
Shit.
Here's the ammo that I picked up from Louisville PD and brought to the Irving Police Department.
Okay. When Patricia Said delivered that saying it belonged to the defendant, Yasser Said?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us what's contained in this box. Let's pull them out. I know we said that.
That's all the bullets you have?
Tell the jury what we're looking at here.
Hilarious.
You have several different types of ammunition, is that right?
That's correct.
Are you able to identify what piece of ammunition paired up with which type of weapon?
I can tell you what the caliber and the make of the ammunition is.
That'd be great.
This is a 38 special. Held by RP on it. These are 38 specials also, and they're made by Federal.
Yeah, they're gonna break
This
for
is a
lunch.
38 special made by Winchester.
Shit, we need food. We need drinks.
This is an RP 357 Magnum.
Yeah, it's on 1.25. Imagine if it was on. I don't want to do any more than that because I don't want to like distort it or whatever. But I just gave it a little boost because it goes kind of long. Oh, thanks, me. You appreciate that. Yes, yes.
This is a RP 30-06.
I know. Need a chase, man.
SBRG. This is a 30-06 RP. Can you go through each one of these separately?
Why don't you go ahead and open up these? Thank you.
Expert.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullets. Is that right?
Out of that influence, yes.
So what are we looking at here?
This is a made by Winchester, and it's a 9mm Luger.
Each one of those 6.
9mm Luger. This is an FC 9mm Luger. This is a 9mm Luger made by FC. FC 9mm Luger. And 9mm FC Luger.
Okay. I see Winchester on a couple of these.
Correct.
Just for the record.
It's a 9mm Winchester Luger.
So that's one. Okay. And then the rest are FC.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to put these back in the ammo box, and I'm going to have you help me with one more exhibit. So those brand names were FC and Winchester, is that correct?
Correct.
For the 9mm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chase replay. Your StreamYard working? Streamlabs? What else they doing?
It's going to be hard, you probably need to put on your glasses, but I'm handing you what's been previously admitted as State's Exhibit 103. If you can read me the brand name on the live bullet that was found in the med scene.
I need it open. I can't see through the plastic well enough.
I don't know what happened with the bot. Didn't do nothing. Is it on?
Thank you.
It's on.
It's a Winchester 9mm Luger.
Winchester 9mm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You get a boost?
I got that. Just a few more.
They did, yeah.
Okay. I'm now handing you what's been previously admitted as State Exhibit 56.
They're pulling out a lot of stuff.
Okay. Okay. Will you look at these 6 shell casings, and it should be identified on the outside, and tell me their brand names for B, C, D, F, I, and J shell casings.
On the one that's marked B.
We're just gonna watch this up until they're gonna take a break here, and it's like we're just gonna watch up until that, and that's it. It's like I will. But maybe we'll come back after. I don't know. Later, if something comes up, talk about something random. Do a random chase watch.
It's a PC. I'm sorry, FC NP 9mm.
Dragon, bro. I'm glad. You see,
yes.
This is what we got to be careful what we cover too. That's why I haven't really committed to a trial yet, because I imagine sitting through this shit like in the middle of the day, all day long at normal speed, and you got to wait through the 15-minute breaks and the 2-3 hours, sometimes 4 hour. On day 2, literally we were gone for 4 hours. I mean, I'm kind of glad a little bit, because this is kind of like, I don't know, reminding me that when we pick one, I just want it to be kind of whatever it is. I kind of want it to be the right one, hopefully. I don't want to get stuck with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is kind of an interesting case, but some shit I don't want to get stuck in, bro.
Okay. What about C?
Se acabó.
On C, it is a FC 9mm Luger.
Showcasing D?
Who's that?
D is a FC
Cook meal
9mm
every
Luger.
night. She with the kids.
Showcasing F?
F is a FC 9mm Luger.
Showcasing I?
I is a FC 9mm Luger.
And showcasing J?
J is an FC 9mm Luger.
We need a Silvio live too. We're just come and hang out. He's smoking. Maybe I'm drinking. Cover a couple stories.
Okay. Now I would like you to take a look at showcasing E and showcasing H. Please tell the jury the brand name.
On E, it is a Winchester 9mm Luger. H is a Winchester 9mm Luger.
Thank you, Detective Johnson. So these shell casings, Winchester and FC, are the same shell casing types that you found in the ammo box that we just reviewed.
Yes.
Thank you for your assistance. You can take your gloves off.
Did you pay the bot bill?
Do you have much more for this witness?
Did you sell that?
A few more questions, Robert.
Yeah, even the judge is like, well, I know it's break time for them, but yo, I'm fried too, Debbie. Like I'm still
I'm asking because it's lunchtime practically.
dragging this shit out.
Do you think you'll be done with your examination in chief before lunch?
With my examination of this witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I think I can definitely finish in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, that's good.
5 to 10 minutes. Maybe that's it. Come on, keep it going. Keep doing it. Torture everybody. Torture yourself.
Did you find out any information about the owner of the cab? You had information that the defendant was in possession of the cab. When you went to look at the registered owner of the cab, did you ever ask the defendant's name?
No.
Okay. Who was the registered owner of that cab?
Investigator Hennig was doing that legwork for me.
Okay. So Hennig would be the one to form the outside?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you did find out it did not belong to the defendant? That
Correct.
was not registered to the
Correct.
That would be interesting, Muriel. Muriel says, can you cover Yasser if he testifies? Yeah, maybe we'll just stick to like the big moments. Because I honestly feel like I could have ended this stream right at the mother and that's it. Maybe I'll just do a little more screening if we do come back. And we'll just cover the big moments. I'm going to spend 40 hours covering this. You know.
And the ammunition I just went over for a 9mm handgun, that is a firearm, is that right?
That is correct.
A deadly weapon?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Thank you. This is a good time to break for lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, you are still under my rules
Sean
and
Connery.
instructions. Let's be back here at
Sean
1 o'clock.
Connery. All right, man. Let's see let's just take a little peek. What's going on in the world? Maybe we'll come back. My friend was telling me you should just hang out sometimes or whatever. I don't know. There was two things, I think. Let's see. There was some sort of explosion here and there. Let me pull up the link. Oh, Jesus. Oh, she didn't send me the link. Oh, let me see. You type it in. There was this crazy link that was put on Discord of this car crash. There was cars at a red stop at a intersection, and this car, I think it was in California, just comes speeding. I think as soon as the light turned green or something, he hit one of the cars, and the car literally blew up in flames. I don't think I can play that on here. I'm not even gonna try. They're saying 4 people killed, fire kills 4, and foul play suspected. An explosion. 4 people found dead after fires at 2 homes in Nebraska, authorities say. The bodies were found in 2 locations in Laurel that are about 3 blocks apart. Nebraska State Patrol said, and foul play is suspected. I really wanted to find a video, but I'll read. 4 people were found dead earlier Thursday morning at 2 homes that were on fire in Laurel, Nebraska, and foul play suspected. Just after 3 a.m. Thursday, the authorities in the city of about 1,000 people northwest of Omaha. I can imagine living in a city of 1,000 people. Received a call about an explosion in the 200 block of Elm Street. Colonel John, the superintendent of Nebraska State Patrol, said at a news conference. Oh, they had a news conference. Okay. When the authorities arrived, they found a person dead inside the home. Colonel said as they were investigating, they received a call about another fire at a home 3 blocks away and found 3 people dead inside. The names and ages of the victims were not released. The authorities were searching for a suspect or suspects, but said it was too early to discuss a motive. He said he believed that the 2 episodes were related. The two fires with deceased people 3 blocks apart. He said it would be a stretch to say that there's no connection, but it's very early in the investigation. Shortly after the second fire was reported, the authorities received a report that a silver sedan had been seen leaving Laurel and heading west on Highway 20. The vehicle may have picked up a passenger before leaving town. Investigators believe that accelerants may have been used in both fires. They also believe that anyone who was inside the home at the time may have been buried. What? Therefore, it's possible that our suspect or suspects received burn injuries during these incidents. Wait, did I say buried? They also believe that anyone who was inside the home at the time may have been burned. Okay, I said buried. I don't know where I got that from. The Cedar County Sheriff did not immediately release or return phone or email messages at the news conference. He called Laurel a tight-knit community where everybody knows everybody. I've never been in one of those communities where like everybody knows everybody. Hey Bob, hey Paul, hey everybody. Everybody knows you can't do anything, can't go anywhere. Want to look at the press conference or should we just gut it? Do you want to look at the press conference?
It's like at least
Yeah. Because some people not Norfolk.
Probably made a change.
Job. Like that's different.
That's different, but I'm not far from that.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's good.
Okay, is everybody ready to go? Okay, so we'll have 4 people up here. Colonel John Bolduc of the Nebraska State Patrol. Captain Dane Hicks. He is the Troop B commander for the Nebraska State Patrol. We have the Cedar County Attorney as well as the Cedar County Sheriff. Also going to be here. Sheriff Caranda will be up here as well. So we'll have all of them come up here. The Colonel will speak, and then you'll be able to take some questions.
Horrible audio.
I'm sure this is an ongoing early stages investigation, so we may not be able to answer everything at this point. So I'll bring them all out, and we'll get going.
I got a question. Can we have them state their name just before?
Yes,
gotcha.
We'll do that. Hold up.
Good afternoon. My name is Colonel John Bolduc, JOHNBOLDUC with the Nebraska State Patrol. Thanks for coming here this afternoon. The Nebraska State Patrol and the Cedar County Sheriff's Office are investigating multiple crime scenes here in the city of Laurel. Before I get into what details that we can release and what we need from the public, let me first share a message for the people of Laurel. Incidents like this can shake a community, but I want to emphasize that we have an outstanding public safety team on scene here with a number of our partners to keep the community safe. Here are the details that we can share at this time. Just after 3 a.m. this morning, Cedar County 911 received a phone call about an explosion at a residence at 209 Elm Street here in Laurel. Fire crews responded to this home and located an individual inside. That individual was deceased. the Laurel Police Department, Cedar County Sheriff's Office, and Nebraska State Patrol responded to this first scene. As investigators were on the scene of the first residence, a second fire was reported a few blocks away at 503 Elm Street. Fire crews and law enforcement located 3 individuals deceased inside of that.
That explosion for that car accident is crazy. You check it out. It's on my Twitter, or you can check out Discord. Pretty insane to see.
Residents. Fire crews have worked diligently to put out the fire, but also to preserve evidence that may be located inside the home. Our investigators are processing that second scene at this time. In total, we have 4 individuals deceased at 2 different crime scenes, about 3 blocks apart. Foul play is suspected in these deaths. We will not be releasing the identities of those involved at this time, as this investigation is in the very early stages. Here's what we need from the public. If anyone has information about this crime, these crimes, please contact the Nebraska State Patrol at 402-479-4921. Again, that's 402-479-4921. Shortly after the second fire was reported, law enforcement received a report that a silver sedan had been seen leaving the town of Laurel. This vehicle was reported westbound on Highway 20. It was reportedly driven by a black male. The report also stated the vehicle may have picked up a passenger before leaving town. Fire investigators believe that accelerants may have been used in both of these fires. They also believe that anyone who was inside the home at that time may have been burned. Therefore, it is possible that our suspect or suspects received burn injuries during these incidents. Additionally, we've been communicating with the local residents and businesses to see if there are any security camera footage that may be pertinent to this case. If anyone in Laurel or the surrounding areas has video that may be relevant, we are asking you to contact the Nebraska State Patrol at the number that I gave you previously. Again, any information can go to 402-479-4921. This has been a huge team effort here in Laurel today, and I want to thank the volunteer firefighters from Laurel, from Wayne, from Belden, and their extreme fire marshal for bringing his resources today, as well as the Cedar County Emergency Management Office getting to these deaths. We ask you to contact us. Please understand that this investigation is in very early stages. There's a lot of information that we will not be able to share, but we'd be happy to try and answer your questions at this time.
Do you expect any drugs involved during any of these incidents?
It's too early in the investigation to talk about cause or motive, any of those things.
Do you believe that people died from the fire, or was there an incident preceding?
In any of these incidents, we're going to rely on the medical examiner, the coroner, to do an autopsy and to steer us in the direction.
All right, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Appreciate it. Checking out this trial. Said, Yasser Said. Yeah, if you could hit like on the way out and subscribe and all that good stuff. Also, if you want to check out a channel, you can check out this channel. I prefer to plug when I got more viewership, but I'll just plug it in for now anyway, and we can do it next time. Guidance with Life in TLC. Just a friend. Try to get her to 1K subs. So I'll just plug that in. But we'll do it again when you have more people watching. And she does true crime and like tarot readings and stuff. But yeah, you guys have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for joining. All that good stuff. Peace. Adios. Bye. Thank you for the fun chat. I really enjoyed the chat. The chat held me through the entire time. If it wasn't for the chat, I love you guys. Thank you. And thank you for all the kind words. Made my day. Because like sometimes, yeah. So thank you. Peace. Organize a chase.